Welcome to Stacktastic, the weekly web show for the avid comic book reader and those who aspire to become so. This week it's another edition of Opinionation, where I share my own thoughts on the latest comics and welcome you to share your own thoughts in the comments down below. And then be sure to stay tuned for my recommendations of what comics to pick up or download for money this week. Let's get started. This is hard to say, but it looks like I might owe Jean Grey an apology. As you all know, I have not been a huge fan of the character, especially towards the end of her latest run, Topsoil. I laid out my arguments pretty clearly and frankly in a previous episode, but the short of it is that she was pretty much the female version of Scott Summers, and therefore suffered from the same problems. Too perfect, too shallow, too boring. But then something interesting happened. Beast brought back the original X-Men so that the younger version of Cyclops could see what he would become and, reacting in total disgust, change his mind and therefore change the future. However, while both versions of Summers are still wrapping their minds around this impromptu introduction, it seems that Jean Grey, whose own mind has been set free by getting her telepathic powers earlier than expected, is the one to see her future self and shudder in disgust. Hell, maybe she even watched my video. Either way, Jean Grey has seen the future, and more importantly hers, and has decided to change it. Now, I don't know if this is a brilliant bit of irony engineered by Michael Bendis or if he just looked into it, but he's given Jean Grey a new lease on life, not just within the pages of the X-Men, but within the mutant canon. Plus, he is refreshingly not writing her as he does almost all his female characters, sassy and self-aware, but instead in the protagonist mold, and perhaps even, dare I say it, the hero mold. She's even become the leader of her team, finally! I like this new Jean Grey much better, look out Emma, and I find myself hoping she might stick around permanently. It is nice to see the pink glow of her telekinesis once more, and she does seem to inspire a level of camaraderie among the female X-Men that has been missing in the era of Emma, and looks to be further reflected in the upcoming all-female X-Men book. And with her rejection of Scott, I also can't help but wonder if Wolverine's going to be willing to date telepathic and telekinetic jailbait if it means finally getting the girl of his dreams. Hey, aren't all women jailbait to someone born in the late 1880s? Logan better be asking himself these questions now in case opportunity does strike. After all, she was dreaming about him naked. I'm really enjoying Superior Spider-Man. I love that Doc Ock Spidey doesn't take any of the shit Peter Parker politely swallowed for decades. And for nothing, I might add, as all of his so-called friends aren't at all suspicious about his drastic change in behavior. Apparently he was your friendly neighborhood sap. You go, Ock, karma's a and hope all of this isn't lost on you, Ghost Peter Parker. I'm really going to miss American Vampire while it goes on hiatus, but this is a great opportunity for those of you who haven't checked it out to start sucking away at the trades now, so you're all caught up when Scott Snyder is able to return. And make Skinner Sweet the latest villain turned anti-hero in comics? I'm game. There's a lot of potential in Lauren Buke's and Inaki Miranda's arc on Fairest, from the idea of exploring Asian fairy tales to amazing visual imagery. But storylines that span two timelines joined together by flashbacks generally means that neither time period gets enough attention, and this Rapunzel story is sadly no exception. Plus a white blonde woman is the lead? I think we comic book readers should get a little more credit. Image does it again! Storm Dogs is a really good comic that, for some reason though, isn't getting any recognition. The first two issues just came out, and I highly recommend you check out this intriguing mix of Prometheus meets Total Recall. Are you really going to pass it up after that logline? You're welcome, David Hine and Doug Braithwaite. I just can't get through Jonathan Hickman's two Avengers titles. He's the Dennis Miller of comic book writers, which means he's brilliant, but a tad too niche. How long will Marvel be happy with Fantastic Four sales numbers on their flagship titles? So that's what I have been reading. Now let's discuss what I will be reading this week, and you should too. Unfortunately, the DC titles are largely all tied up in crossovers, so not a lot of jumping on points over there, if you're not already eyeball and wallet deep in Death of the Family, Hell on Earth, Throne of Atlantis, and more. But on the opposite side of the shelf, several more Marvel Now titles are launching. First up is Uncanny X-Force #1, another female-centric mutant title that features just half a man. But what a half! Alpha Flight's Puck finally upgrades to the majors, and whose interest isn't piqued by the addition of Spiral to an X-team? Let's hope it works out better for her than Marrow. I liked Marrow. Also, Kid Loki returns to join the Young Avengers, which relaunches under the very capable hands of Kieran Gillen. He joins fan favorites like Wiccan, Hulkling, Kate Bishop, as well as Marvel Boy and Miss America, who's basically a Hispanic version of Wonder Woman not burdened with the lofty expectations of Amazonian royalty. By the way, the trade for Everything Burns comes out this week too, if you want some irrefutable evidence of how great a job Kieran Gillen does writing Kid Loki. Then it looks like Jean Grey is going to have to get in line as Wolverine becomes Storm's rebound guy after her divorce from T'Challa. But really, these covers are always just a big tease. And while I'm reluctant to recommend any of Cullen Bunn's Marvel work, which from what I've read has been really subpar, I do hear that he knocks it out of the park with Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Well, now he's out to murder everyone you were ever forced to read about in high school English class. By the way, I hope you actually did your reading though, or you're not going to get any of these jokes. Finally, it's a great week for fables, and the title's first couple, Snow White and Bigby, aka the Big Bad Wolf, return to front and center for a new story arc. Plus, the trade for Cubs in Toyland also hits, a brilliant and dark story about the fate of 2 of their 7 children, whose destinies have all been prophesied. And that's this week's Stacktastic. I'm Grace Randolph for Think About the Ink, and hope to see you back on Friday for Between the Pages. Until then, happy reading.